Hey guys, what is up? And today I am here to film the part 2 segment a little bit late for the Strybolt project. Now, as you can tell, it is completed at this point, so I'm going to go over some of the features as well as how it ended up turning out, and then show you a quick firing demonstration and some chronograph testing. This blaster was made for use in Humans vs. Zombies, being that the front magwell is still operational and the back one is just for extra storage. This is similar to the Straven, however the crossbolt is much cheaper and much more available than the Straven, so this sort of makes this like a poor man's Straven, similar to like a poor man's Guru, like being a long shot and a Busby double shot over a crossbow and a double shot, or whatever the air blaster is that goes into that. But this is basically the flywheel equivalent of that. Starting with the external features of the blaster, we'll begin at the front with the pretty standard angled foregrip. This only fits the Nerf Strife, and I did a quick segment about this a little while ago if you want to check it out. So I won't go into too much detail, but it is a pretty comfortable foregrip and it does look very good on the Strife. Above the angled foregrip, we have the pretty standard sling attachment point for the Nerf Strife, as well as the pretty standard jam door for the Nerf Strife. There are two other jam doors on this wall, however they are just cosmetic. This one's actually just over rails specifically, and then this one just goes over the magazine storage, so it's not particularly useful in the function of the blaster. Coming back to the extended mag release, this is a Gavin Fuzzy design. I will put the link to where you can download this piece as well as the angled foregrip in the description box down below. I actually like this design a lot, however I think it is a little bit too long and I do find myself accidentally hitting it a little too much, so I did design my own based off of this, which I used in some of my later mods, but this was sort of the first 3D printed mag release that I've used on a blaster, and I have used on a lot of my strifes going down the line. Going to the back of the blaster, we have the most obvious part of the modification, the integration of the crossbolt shell into the Nerf Strife, making it sort of a Strybolt, if you will. This was done to be like the Straven, where you take a Nerf Raven and integrate it into a Strife for the use of the magwell storage, being that the Nerf Raven is so hard to find now and is increasing in value a lot because of the popularity of that mod. I thought it would be fun to sort of take that spin and do it with a Nerf crossbow bolt instead. Going over the internals of the blaster, I completely gutted all the electronics and redid the whole circuit. It runs off of a XT60 connector and usually a 2S LiPo now. 16 gauge wire, it has a 15 amp Cherry micro switch for the rev switch, and currently stock motors. However, the 16 gauge wire does allow me to use something like Rhinos in this blaster. The shell is not cut out for 180 motors, so I could use any technical 3S motor pair in the front. It is ready for that. However, I'm just sticking right now with stock motors and a 2S LiPo, and it's getting pretty decent performance, and it's about where I need it to be for indoor performance at sort of some of the leagues I generally play at. So I don't want to go too high, as you know, then you get into a safety hazard if not everyone's using super stock blasters. So being that most people just use lightly modified, I have opted to stick with the 2S and the stock motor configuration. The paint of this blaster was done in several stages. After all the bodywork was completed, I gave it a flat black vinyl dye base coat just to smooth out all the colors before I painted over them. The metallic red is actually an automotive paint, and that was done actually in multiple thin layers just to really give it that pop. It was a lot shinier actually, but I did finish it off with a sort of semi-gloss clear coat, which did diminish it a little bit, which I kind of like the look of. And the accent work was done by hand with a enamel paint, so it is very thick on its own, but like I said, it was clear coated just for that extra protective layer. Let's cut to a quick firing demonstration and chrono reading. conclusion, I'm a huge fan of how this blaster turned out. It's pretty comfortable. Like I mentioned before, the only real problem is sort of the tight grip area. Might be an issue for some larger hands, but other than that, this mod is pretty cool looking, and I think it looks just about as cool as the Straven, while being much cheaper and much more available to do. The integration itself was a little more tricky in my opinion, but that's just because you have to also match up this top part up here. But other than that, I think it is a pretty cool mod, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. As always, guys, thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed. Also, guys, if you like the new editing style, or if you have any suggestions, my brother is editing this video. It's his first time doing one of my videos, so please let him know what you think in the comment section down below.
This isn't the only video I've ever edited, by the way.
They don't need to know that. You have 4 cameras. I think that they know.
I mean, this is true.